Good morning. Welcome to Children's Worship. Today we're focusing on what does it mean to be called to be the church by being patient and keeping on loving. Yeah. So we begin with a song, which is all about this idea of doing things together and being patient and loving towards each other. And it's a song called Come Sing a Song with Me. It starts like this. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come fly a kite. I think some of you might like kite flying. I know I do. Come fly a kite with me. Come fly a kite with me. Come fly a kite with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll sing a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Yeah, how about take a hike? I love getting out for a good hike. Here we go. Come take a hike with me. Come take a hike with me. Come take a hike with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll sing a song of love and a rose in the winter time. The last one. Let's see. How about read a book? Yeah, it's really nice to do, especially on a rainy summer day. Come read a book with me. Come read a book with me. Come read a book with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll sing a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Thank you. So many good things that we can do to give each other hope. And here's Violet. She's going to be lighting our chalice today. Here she is. Double thumbs up for life. Life is a gift for which we are grateful. We gather an online community to celebrate the glories and mysteries of this great gift. Awesome. For our mindfulness practice today, I brought our mindfulness jar, because today we're focusing on patience, and being patient with one another. And so the mindfulness jar is a really, really good practice, because it's hard to be patient and to just keep breathing when people are being annoying, or you're frustrated, or you're angry, or you're upset, or you just need to wait. So we're going to practice with our mindfulness jar. And I'm going to teach you something else. Here we go. Breathing in and breathing out. Just arriving as you are and settling yourself down, just like all those little sparkles. Breathing in and breathing out. And breathing in and breathing out. Good, let's do it again. There's this program that teaches children and youth and adults about how to stop and pause. So this is exactly the same thing as the mindfulness jar, and it's called .b. .b. It means like a period, pause, and be, as in just be. Be with your breathing, be with your feelings. Just stop and take a moment to take a breath. That's all we're doing. Here we go. Breathing in and breathing out. And breathing in and breathing out. And breathing in and breathing out. Good. You know, there's a lot of adults that can't stop and just take a breath. And so it's a really good thing to learn when you're younger, because then your whole nervous system and your whole body gets used to doing this. So when you need it most, it will be there as a natural response that you know how to do. Breathing in and breathing out. And breathing in and breathing out. And then just being with whatever's going on for you. Good. For our moment of inquiry today, I have a question for you, and that is, how do we keep patient and keep loving, especially when we feel afraid? Well, I decided I would take you on a tree climb because for me, a lot of the same principles of tree climbing are in what we need to do to address our fears. So here we go. The main thing is to break down something into little pieces, right? And the first thing is to learn about the thing that you would like to do or the thing that you're afraid of. So instead of being fearful and running away from it, to maybe try to open yourself and have curiosity about it. So one of the things I did was went on a weekend that taught me how to tree climb safely because I wanted to do it as an adult. Not just like small tree climbing, I mean like professional, safe tree climbing, like way up. So the second thing is to prepare as much as you can. So that means getting ready your rope, getting ready your equipment, your helmet, making sure you're safe. Being mindful of your own safety, but the safety of those around you. And in this case, it was the tree. So there's a special thing that you put on the limb of the tree so you don't hurt the tree while you're climbing. And you don't hurt yourself because you have a helmet and you have a harness. Another thing about this is to go at the pace that you can go, right? It doesn't happen all at once and very fast, that it's actually more important for you to take time doing it step by step. And by the time I reach the top, I feel like, wow, here I am. I've done all that work. So when you're up here, it's pretty amazing. And there's a sense of being so open and to being free. I'm just wondering, what's something that you might be afraid of? I think there's a lot of fear and anxiety right now about whether we'll go back to school in the fall and what that will look like for us as families. Step by step, going through what are the safety issues, what are the things that we need to consider, how do we keep ourselves safe, how do we keep other people safe, and being patient and loving with each other during that time. Yeah. I'm so grateful today that we have the Sims family, Brendan and Tara and Levi and Violet, to tell us this story. It's called The Elephant and the Wind, and it's a Buddhist tale. And it's really about this idea of how as a community do we deal with somebody who has fear. And because of that fear might make us feel impatient or annoyed or frustrated. And how does the community deal with that? It's a really important question. So here are the Sims.
At one monastery the Buddha stayed at, there was a monk with a questionable past who lived in constant fear of his life. If the wind rustled the leaves of a tree, or a shrill bird call rang through the forest, the monk shrieked and quickly hid under the nearest table. Soon his constant trepidation began to affect the other monks. Not wanting to be infected with similar fears, the group of monks had just begun discussing the problem when the Buddha entered the room. Hearing all about the jittery monk, the Buddha gently suggested, "Don't be angry with this brother, monks."
Don't be angry with this brother, monk.
Once before, long ago in another lifetime,
Once before, long ago in another lifetime,
he carried this same dread in his heart.
he carried the same dread in his heart.
And just like long ago, with our help,
Just like long ago with our help,
he will slowly learn to leave these fears behind.
he will slowly learn to leave these fears behind.
Then the Buddha recounted this tale of long ago. Once upon a time, many years past, the former Buddha lived as a tree sprite in the foothills of the Himalayan mountains. And in those days there lived a great and beautiful elephant in a nearby city. The king gave over the care of this rare elephant to the royal animal trainers, hoping that she would learn to perform tricks. Sadly, though, and unbeknownst to the king, they treated her cruelly. They barked commands at her. If she disobeyed her trainers or needed to rest, they prodded and poked her belly. Finally, they wounded her one too many times. She fought against the shackles until they broke. With her immense strength, she escaped the compound. The trainers scattered and ran for their lives. The great elephant fled as fast as she could, and far into the hills. She ran and ran until she was very far from civilization, and still she kept running. Months passed, and although people had forgotten about the elephant had not forgotten people. She was terrified of being caught again. In constant dread, she lived as though she were still tied to her old training post, and in time the great elephant grew thin and weak from exhaustion. Now in these same mountains lived the Buddha as a tree sprite. Many times he had watched the agitated elephant pace back and forth, but now he saw that the elephant would die without some help. Luckily, his chance came soon. It was a scorching summer afternoon, and the great elephant needed relief. The little sprite quietly came near, appearing very much like leaf-dappled sunshine. Before the elephant had noticed him, and before she could run away in alarm, the sprite whispered in her ear, "Do you fear the wind?
The wind
That only blows the leaves away?
that only blows the leaves away?
So much fear held in your heart
So much fear held in your heart
will waste thee all away."
will waste thee all away.
The elephant heard the sprite's quiet words and found them soothing. It was a new feeling. She didn't run. Looking at the tiny sprite, the great elephant wondered why she did have anything to be afraid of anymore. After all, here was the smallest creature of the forest telling the biggest not to be afraid. Could it be that she had simply gotten used to being fearful, and maybe there was a very different way to be? So bit by bit, the elephant relearned how to enjoy her life in the mountains. Little by little, she was able to sleep through the common night sounds of the forest. The dark, moonless nights no longer scared her. Instead, she beheld a glittering, star-filled sky. Thanks to the kindness of the tree sprite, the great elephant became strong and healthy and lived very happily ever after. And so the Buddha concluded this lesson with the monks. From that day on, they treated the restless monk carefully with kindness and compassion until finally his last fear was well gone.
Yeah, so I wonder what you think that story has to teach or remind us about. What does that story especially teach us about patience and about being this kind of accepting community where we can grow together? I'll let you write it in the chats. One thing for sure is to have compassion for people who may have experiences that are different than us and people who are suffering, right? Yeah, so our justice, equity, and compassion, that open-heartedness, right? And not to be judgmental or frustrated when someone else is struggling as much as we can. Another thing is to be able to trust that change can happen, right? We've talked about this before, like having confidence that nobody's going to grow in an environment where they're getting fingers pointed at them and feeling punished, right? That's not an environment where people can feel supported and loved and to grow, right? Especially to get over something that was traumatic or hard for them. like in this case, the elephant that was being hurt, right? So our way to freedom for everybody, to unlock that freedom for all of us, is to be able to be open and to take that time and to take that patience with each other, and that we can grow in that environment. And I think one of the other things is that it doesn't always somebody's behavior may be for a reason we can't know, right? We don't always know why people are afraid or why people are doing the things that they do. And sometimes we can't know that. Maybe we don't know them that well. But to try to be as loving and understanding, even if we don't know exactly what's going on for them, and to have compassion, right? To be able to do that. Yeah, so much to learn from this, especially as families, when one person in our family might be struggling, and how do we come together around that person to be able to help them to go through it. For our family connection today, one thing you can simply do is to be sure that you're listening to each other's fears. So maybe have a family circle. Is there something you're afraid of? And to be able to have that person be able to speak about their fear and ask for what they need about that, or have other people offer what they could offer. You know, even if it's just listening and that we're here for you, and here's maybe one or two things that we're doing to help support you with that. And that means whether you're 5 or 105, right? Whoever is in your family unit. We all have fears, and we all have ways that we can deal with them. Another fun thing you might try is to find a little knick-knack or a little symbol for that sprite. Violet was such a great sprite in this story, and it reminds us of the Buddha. So you could have a little sprite that you hide in plain sight in your house so that people can find it. But it also as a reminder of the Buddha's words that you're going to be okay, and that you have family around you, and that whatever it is, that there will be people to support you. For our closing song, we're going to sing I Know This Seed Will Open, and the seed that we think about would be the seed that we want to grow in ourselves and each other, and for our community, whatever that seed is, a seed of deeper understanding, a seed of more freedom, a seed of more security. So first we start as the seed. I know this seed will open. And then we touch our thighs as if it's starting to open. I know my fear will burn away. And then opening the side of the seeds like this. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this seed will open. Let's try it again. I know this seed will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this seed will open. One more time. I know this seed will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this seed will open. Love from church. Bye for now. See you next time.